A few days ago, Ji-woo was a high school student. Because her father was a wanted man, there was always a policeman watching her outside her house. In addition to that, her classmates isolated her and teased her. Even the teachers were against her. Her life was so stressful that she was on the verge of breaking down, until this time, she finally exploded. Ji-woo threw flour on the fat girl's face. The fat girl pulled out a pencil sharpener and pressed him, but Ji-woo didn't have to be afraid to deal with it. And then, she responded with an angry retort.
이 정도는 해야지, 씨발.
The teacher arrived. Before she could say anything, Ji-woo ripped the nameplate off her chest.
부탁할게요.
On her way home, she saw a police car spying on her. Without saying a word, he smashed the rearview mirror. At this moment, Ji-woo's anger was completely unleashed. When he got home, she kicked away the cake that her father had left on the doorstep. It was obvious, the father who promised to spend his birthday together had once again broken his promise. Her father called to wish Ji-woo well. Ji-woo shouted her grievances into the phone. The daughter's words made the father feel guilty. Eventually, he risked being arrested and returned home. However, the moment he opened the door, the killer in black suddenly appeared from behind. Ji-woo saw his father through the steel door. She tried to open it, but his father pressed the lock of the door. There was a gunshot. His father fell. He used his last strength to break the key, just to keep his daughter safe. When Ji-woo pushed open the door, the black-clad killer was long gone. She never expected her birthday would become the anniversary of her father's death. After taking care of his father's funeral, Ji-woo pressured the police to find the killer, but all she got was a wanted man who deserved to be killed. Ji-woo had no choice but to find another way. He found a gangster named Choi Moo-jin. He was his father's best friend. When Ji-woo said he would kill the murderer himself, he didn't say a word. He took out a knife and handed it to Ji-woo. He asked, "Have you ever killed anyone? Do you know how dangerous the world is?" Just like that, Ji-woo was kicked out. Did my father die in vain? Apparently not. Ji-woo never gave up looking for the murderer. She put up a $5 million reward on the streets where the gangsters hang out. Soon enough, he heard something, but when she met him at the appointed place, he realized that the gangsters had set him up. They took Ji-woo's $5 million and beat her up. If it wasn't for Choi Moo-jin's help, Ji-woo would have died on the street. Mr. Choi tried to talk Ji-woo out of it again, but Ji-woo was determined to avenge her father's death. Seeing Ji-woo's determination, Choi told her, if he really wants to avenge his father's death, she had to become strong enough, and so, Ji-woo was taken to a boxing gym, where killers are trained. The rest were all tough guys with tattoos. He was often bullied, but that didn't stop her from training hard. Choi Moo-jin spied on Ji-woo every day. He was looking for a chance to make her stand out from the gang. Finally, the day came, the annual fighting competition. All the fighters were locked in a steel cage. There were no camps, no gender distinction. The one who fights to the end will officially join the gang. The battle is about to begin. After the training, Jae's fighting power has really increased. Not only can they fight, they can also kill with a single move. After a few minutes, Bo-hyun and Jae were the only ones left standing. The two of them were at each other's throats. They are fighting for the final victory. At first, Bo-hyun had the upper hand. He strangled Jae with a chain. Ji-woo was about to be beaten to death. Choi Moo-jin couldn't help himself. Luckily, Ji-woo used the railing to break free. Then she used her body's agility to lock Bo-hyun in a crotch lock. In just 3 seconds, Bo-hyun fainted. Choi Moo-jin's heart finally dropped. Raised Ji-woo's hand. This is the real strong man. When Bo-hyun woke up, it was late at night. He thought back to the time he was beaten up by Ji-woo. He felt humiliated, so he had bad thoughts about Ji-woo. The girl is taking a bath. Outside the house, the man's got something on his mind. When she came out of the shower, the water has already been drugged by the man. The girl falls down in a daze. The man took advantage of the situation. He pushed her over. She saw Bo-hyun in a trance. Then he realized he was trapped. She tried to resist, but he couldn't use his strength. Her father's urn was broken. She struggled desperately. He picked up the pieces and hit the man straight in the heart. By now, Bo-hyun had gone crazy. He grabbed a hammer and chased after him. He wanted to kill Ji-woo at all costs. At this critical moment, the gang leader arrived just in time. Ji-woo escaped with his life. There's no such thing as a bad guy. It's a big no-no to break the rules of the gang. Choi Moo-jin enforced the family law. He kicked Bao out of the organization. To avenge his father's death, Ji-woo never forgets. Choi Moo-jin took out a file and handed it to her. Inside was her new identity, Oh-hee Jin. Then he pulled out a police pistol and told her, the man who killed your father was a cop. The next 2 years, Ji-woo practiced her fighting skills. He entered the Narcotics Bureau with honors. He became Choi Moo-jin's undercover agent. But on her first day on the job, she made a big discovery. The boss in front of her was the one who knocked on her father's door the day after he was killed. Is he the murderer? Ji-woo doesn't know for sure. On the other hand, a new type of drug has entered the market. Choi Moo-jin's drug business is in serious decline. He had to work overtime to develop a new product. However, this action was already noticed by the inspection team. Before the operation, the boss asked all team members to surrender their cell phones to prevent leakage of information. When he saw that the target was Choi Moo-jin, Ji-woo realized that the police had installed cameras at Kwa Company. She wanted to notify Choi Moo-jin, but he couldn't find the right opportunity. He could only follow the team to the arrest site. After arriving at the designated location, the police were able to control the guards. A large number of police officers swarmed in. Choi Moo-jin was about to be arrested. Suddenly, a shot was fired. A fire broke out inside the house. All the evidence was destroyed. Choi jumped into the sea and escaped. The covert operation ended in failure. While searching for evidence, the boss found a police gun with an obliterated serial number. Ji-woo used it to fire the shot he just fired. She had two purposes. One, to create confusion, to give Choi Moo-jin a chance to escape. The second was to see her boss' reaction when he got his hands on the gun, because the murderer used this gun to kill her father. After the mission, Ji-woo told Choi Moo-jin about the police surveillance. Choi Moo-jin sent his men to dismantle the surveillance cameras one by one. This gave the boss reason to suspect that there's an undercover agent in the police force. On the other side, a group of young men wearing masks stormed into Kwa Gym and attacked everyone. Their leader is Bo-hyun, who was kicked out of the organization. When the killer puts on a mask, even a tiger would be shocked to see him. At Bo-hyun's command, his men wield 40-meter machetes, rapidly rushed into the boxing gym. He'll kill anyone he sees. The more they resisted, the crazier Bo-hyun became. The reason he did this was to get back at gangster Choi Moo-jin. Before he left, Bo-hyun told him that this was just an appetizer. 2 days later, the police found Bo-hyun on the car recorder. Through investigation, they found out that Bo-hyun used to be Choi Moo-jin's henchman. With narcotics chief Ki's knowledge of Choi Moo-jin, Choi will retaliate in the form of a gang. He'll kill them all when they are all dead. When he heard the news, Ji-woo told Choi Moo-jin. Choi cancelled his planned retaliation. A few days later, Chi, who was waiting to see what would happen, realized that Choi hadn't done anything. It seems that there is an undercover agent inside. In order to find out who the undercover agent is, Chi intentionally rumored that he also has an undercover agent in Choi Moo-jin's side. And there's a big news tonight. Ji-woo fell for it. That night, he followed Chi as a motorcycle boy. He was on the verge of finding out who his contact was, but he was blocked by Wei, who had ambushed him in advance. Ji-woo fled over the guardrail, but he finally saw his contact. This person was Mr. Kim, who was with Choi Moo-jin. Afterwards, Chi suspected that Ji-woo was the undercover agent. In order not to alert the police, Chi arranged for Wei to follow Ji-woo. Wei realized that Ji-woo was investigating Bo-hyun and didn't look like an undercover agent, so he got into Ji-woo's car and asked her why she was acting alone. That's when Bo-hyun showed up. They followed him all the way. When they arrived, they realized that Bo-hyun had set up the trap. On the other side of the Koi Moo-jin was also ambushed by killers. Fortunately, he is a tough guy, a dozen assassins couldn't get past him. Jae's side is not so lucky. Pyo stuck a knife into Ji-woo's body. He took a picture and sent it to Koi Moo-jin to collect the body immediately. It's a 10,000-ton press. As the distance closes, it's not a surprise. The two of them will soon be crushed to a pulp. Back at the office, Mr. Kim complained that he was acting alone. He was too trusting of Ji-woo. Mr. Koi Moo-jin disliked him. Since Pyo found out that Ji-woo was an undercover agent, if he tipped off the police, Ji-woo would be in danger, so Koi prepared passports to send Ji-woo out of the country. However, his father's murderer has yet to be found. Ji-woo wouldn't leave so easily. He just hung up.